Hello, welcome to Breakfast Central. This beautiful Tuesday morning, we are complete and raring to go. My co-anchors are very excited this morning, and I can't wait to introduce you to them. So many things are happening across the world, and of course, in our beautiful country, Nigeria, as we're inching down towards the Osun gubernatorial elections. Today on the program, we'll be talking to the Commissioner of Information in Osun State to give us an up-to-date assessment of preparations and, of course, the sad incidents that have been happening in the state in the run-up to the elections. We'll also probe the remaining school abductions in Borno State. What's the latest with those students that were kidnapped in Askari Uba? It's been more than 60 days. We'll be looking at that and more. Do stay with us. When we return, we'll be introducing the rest of the team. We'll be right back after this break. Hello, welcome back to Breakfast Central this morning, this beautiful Tuesday morning. So many things to unpack, but I'm not alone. As always, I am joined by the Queen. They just concluded a celebrant of a birthday, which was a highlight of the last 2 weeks of Breakfast Central. Let me introduce Olive Emodi of Ogwashuku.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say. So I think we're gradually shifting away from my birthday being the highlight to Benga's birthday.
No, I'm not
Friday.
in the same.
No,
it's not a big deal for me.
it has to.
I don't carry birthday on my head.
Until your wife does not wish you happy birthday, that's when you will know you don't carry birthday on your head. But good morning! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
That bell belongs to Joe, by the way.
It's a lie. It doesn't belong to him. I contest the leadership of that. I'm the only one on the show, so the bell belongs to me. You're welcome to Breakfast Central. I'm Olive Emodi, and always excited to be here with you for the next 3 hours. As usual, we're going around the country. We're discussing political, social, economic conversations with seasoned experts, but we wake up first by sharing wake-up conversations, which will begin shortly. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Olive Emodi, and I'll now hand over to our alleged leader, Joe Hansen. Hello.
I don't know what you mean by alleged.
He's our leader.
I'm here.
If
It's happening. It's
You
not
know,
also
that,
agree that
I
he's
really
the
like-
leader.
That's not your business. No. Do you want us to put it to the vote? Do you want us to ask the YouTube audience now?
What do you want to ask YouTube?
Did they work at
No, ask your question. What do you want to ask YouTube?
Let's not
Show
do
your power. Oh, yeah, let's
let's
go.
not do that here. Thank you,
Let's
Lillian Oloha. I love our YouTube audience a lot.
Anyway, welcome to Breakfast Central. A lot is happening, and we're back again on the air. Our joy is that we're here to do business, and that's exactly what we're here to do on a Tuesday morning. As we speak, some budgets are being made to buy brand new cars. As we speak, there seems to be good news filtering into the Nigerian educational system. NASU and SANU will actually see something good that would definitely hit them. But then again, we want to say welcome and thank you so much for joining us. This is Breakfast Central, like Olive and Benga have rightly said. We're looking forward to bring to you the latest stories. Don't forget, we're also streaming live on YouTube. So go there, drop a comment or two. That's where we're taking our comments from, actually. Not just that, we're also going to be looking at some of the biggest stories making the rounds, as usual, in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. In South Africa, a video I saw has kept me thinking. It's so sad, of a Nigerian who was unalived. Unfortunately, the police, in a way, fortunately, rather, the police tried to hide it, but it wasn't just going to work for them because Nigerians were able to see a video that's been circulating online. You get to see that video. It's very sad, but we do hope that you do have the guts to bear this early Tuesday morning. But let's start off first.
And still in South Africa about this issue, there's been statements. There was a South African delegation by the foreign minister. That's the Minister for the Department of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa, Ronald Lamola. They tried to see President Tinubu on Friday. He declined to see them. there's been a back
And I like that.
an explanation from Mr. Bayo Nanuga, and also the South African authorities released their own statement. So we'll be extracting all of that.
Okay, so in case you're wondering what the story is that we're discussing about, there's been expressed outrage and grief after the death, or do I say killing, of a 42-year-old Ibeh Chika Simon who collapsed during a police visit or police arrest in Cape Town, South Africa. Preliminary reports show Simon sustained bruises and abrasions on his chest and back. Witnesses and videos suggest excessive force may have been used, and there have been different claims regarding this. The tragedy has reignited concerns about xenophobia and police brutality in South Africa, with Nigerians calling for stronger diplomatic action and protection for citizens abroad. Now, let's warn you, it's a very gory video, especially when you hear what he's saying. It's quite distressing, but we have to play it. So let's look.
I don't know anything. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm serious, bro. I'm serious, bro. I'm serious. I'm sorry, bro.
Well, if that video didn't do anything to you, I'm sure yesterday I was struggling when I saw that video and I said, why? Why this? I saw another video again of another Nigerian. I can't describe it. His lips were severed. It was quite brutal from the middle down. He was bleeding profusely. And there he was screaming.
In South Africa?
In South Africa. And the people were saying, oh, he was like, they should record it. They should record it. And that's one. On the other hand, while that was going on, a South African was also apprehended and almost dealt with, beaten yesterday. And he kept telling them, I am not a foreigner, for goodness sakes. I am a South African. Or do I look different?
I mean,
and they said no. And he had to start speaking their language. And even at that, they were like, yeah, are you really sure? He said, listen, what is wrong with you people?
You see, it goes back to when we started talking about xenophobia. It goes back to what I said on this show, that if they say they don't want foreigners in their country, they're well within their rights. They're well within their right to say to their government, you know, you're not making adequate protection for us. You're not making adequate provision for us. But we must check what the facts are. If you say that, are you then saying that it is these foreigners that are stealing your jobs? The foreigners make up 5% of South Africa's population. So you send this 5% away, then what next? Let's come to this video at hand. Watching that video was so distressing. No human being should be treated in that way. No human being should be arrested like this, like animals. The animal is not even the person being arrested. The animals are the people effecting the arrest. How many of you overpowering one man? Where is the arm that he's carrying? Typically, if you're showing that level of force, there has to be proof that there's a commensurate force. Where is the level of force or the resistance there? You cover the man with a plastic bag. I hope those people go to bed at night and see the face of this man haunting them in their dreams. I hope they have no rest, no peace. They're not able to sleep. But more importantly, I hope that the Nigerian government takes decisive action against South Africa for this, because this is ridiculous. The South African government, I hear that the envoy came to see the president. The president has shunned them. And that was a strong body language that was being sent. It started off like a joke. It started like, oh, Nigerians need to go back. Foreigners need to go back. They're the ones causing mayhem. But at this point, to the point where we now have to start killing people like they're animals, behaving like animals to each other within the same continent, we should be ashamed of ourselves.
You know what pains me the most? The Western Cape police said that Simon died while he was being placed under arrest. as he allegedly became unwell, and then they said he collapsed.
What a lie. I mean, thank God.
The saving grace is that somebody was recording it from inside that building and could cover every single thing that happened.
Because that would have been the official narrative.
Don't forget that this is another Nigerian who is dying. Remember the one they shot outside of his shop, his supermarket, his store?
Big Joe.
Big Joe.
Fat Joe, yeah.
And then they said Big Joe's death will be investigated. We did have a guest join us here from South Africa.
And all these are happening in less than 2 months, back to back. So imagine...
I don't get it.
The entire... It's really, really sad. And I really support Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama. He said, you know, this issue of South Africa's xenophobia should be discussed at the level of the African Union because it's getting out of hand. And I'm happy that the Nigerian government decided to, that the president refused to see the South African foreign minister when they came calling on Friday. I guess, like Olive said, it sends a strong signal that, look, it's not business as usual.
It's not.
And it's very unfortunate. 1994 is still very, it's
still fresh.
It's still fresh. The memories, the people that contributed to the end of the apartheid struggle, they're still very much alive. And to see South Africa go from what people thought was going to be a hope of a continent, the rainbow nation, to what it is today, it's really, really terrible. And South Africa is not the only country in the world where you have foreigners. You have foreigners, you have immigrant populations everywhere in the world, in the United Kingdom, in the United States. They're not treated this way. And there are also South Africans that are residents in other parts of the world. Is this how nationals of South Africa are treated in Nigeria? Is this how they're treated everywhere? So why would you do this to any human being, regardless of nationality? It's very poor. And there should be stiff and serious sanctions. It's beyond just statements of condemnation. You need to hit South Africa where it matters the most and send a strong message for them to end this madness.
It hurts, Gbenga. It hurts real bad that, I mean, if that man had his family this morning, they'll be watching the videos and seeing how their dad was actually unalived, with a poor statement coming out to say, oh yes, he actually was not feeling too well when he was arrested. He collapsed. Does that look like someone who collapsed? Or better still, what's the difference between this and John Floyd that we saw during the pandemic? George Floyd, rather. What's the difference between this and George Floyd and that got the whole of America talking? What's the difference between what you're doing to this man and yet what you claim to say that you stand for? If you say you claim to stand for the fact that you want your country to unite and you want your people to gain the benefits of what South Africa has to offer to its citizens, does it mean that you can't simply just tell a visitor or a guest, Oga, leave my house? It's just as simple as ABC. If I come to your house and you don't want me there, you simply say, please leave the house. And if I should call the security agents on you, it's just for them to escort you out of the house. It's when you pull a restraint or you try to force yourself, then we can say it's force for force. There's fire for fire. But nothing. You just go ahead and just unalive a man like that. Use what we call a nylon, just tie it around his face. And then he's saying he can't breathe. And then again, you're going on.
It's almost like it's institutionalized violence, because this is not just ordinary vigilantes. This is a South Africa police services.
So,
and many
committing a crime
in the past about this extrajudicial killings.
The question now is, what is the South African government going to do to these people who have murdered a man in broad daylight? What is the South African... And that's the question that we are asking. So, two people that we want to hold to account, or two institutions that we need to hold to account, or two people that we need to ask questions. Please, this video is very distressing. Can we not play it anymore?
Please, let's take it out for now.
Thank you.
It's triggering.
Two people I have questions for. First, the South African government, then the Nigerian government. What is the South African government going to do to the men who murdered a human being in broad daylight? Forget about whether he's Nigerian or he's a foreigner. What are they going to do to their law enforcement who murdered a man? Or is that what South Africa represents? Is that what South Africa stands for? Arresting people like animals, covering them with plastic? So that's one for the South African government to answer. But secondly, what is the Nigerian government going to do? A citizen, a Nigerian citizen, has not just been treated like an animal, stripped of his dignity of human person, stripped of his right to life. For what? What reason? Was he a criminal caught in the act, in the moment where he was robbing? Was he pointing a firearm at someone? What excuse will they give? And because of the conflicting reports that, their law enforcement has given, it's almost difficult at this point to believe them when they're denying any of those things happen. But if not for that video, we wouldn't know what happened. We're waiting to see how the government responds to this. But again, I want to go back to something that Joe had asked. When Big Joe was killed, what was the response? And if we keep acting like this, where something happens to a Nigerian citizen abroad, we make a bit of noise about it, it makes the headlines, and after a while, everybody moves on. Then the question comes back to asking, what is the value of the Nigerian life? Will they have tried this with an American citizen? President Donald Trump would never look the other way had an American citizen been the subject of this humiliation. The U.S. will do whatever they need to do to protect an American citizen. Here in Nigeria, we had Americans who were unfortunately victims of insecurity. The U.S. came in, picked up their citizens. They didn't even wait for our law enforcement to do whatever they needed to do. They will do whatever they need to do to prioritize the life of an American citizen. What is the Nigerian government going to do? I like that President Tinubu shot them. That's first step. But what is the Nigerian government going to do?
It's quite sad. Let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly as we move on with more stories this morning. This one is very, I'd say it's triggering. It's given a lot of pain this morning. It's unfortunate that we have to start the show on that note. But let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly. On YouTube, very quickly. Oh, thank you so much, Gracie. I appreciate that. Amogilang Moni, I don't know. This is very stupid in South Africa. Yeah. That's a long name. Apologies if I can't really get that. Kevin Under says, in the same country, the South African envoy would have since been expelled from Nigeria. What is truly the use and benefit of the toothless African Union? You're right. Toothless. We've always said that. Completely toothless. Nigerian government should act now. And that's exactly what Kevin Honda says.
Now let's take Michael Zeus's comment. Michael Zeus says there is no government in Nigeria. Ghana refused to receive Ramaphosa, the instigator of xenophobia, reported SA to AU and ICC and are going after their companies in Ghana, yet Nigeria is talking to South Africa. Nigerian government also did snub them. President Tinubu, according to reports, refused to see their envoy. So yes, Nigerian government has first of all shown with body language that they're not pleased with what has happened, and will continue to, let's continue to wait for what the government will do in response. And then now let's move to Mokunye Chukwuemeka.
Let's see more.
Okay, Femi Olagunju says, good morning, News Central. Actually, no human being should be treated this way. Nigerian government should take this up. South Africans don't have any compassion on foreigners. It's sad to see this. Mokunye Chukwuemeka said, it's sad what the South African government is allowing against anybody, whether Nigerian or elsewhere. This is not normal. Then again, the president not seeing the South African envoy is good, one, but not good enough, because this has been happening for some time now, and he hasn't done anything. Poor leadership. But didn't we see, okay, no, I don't know the other parts of this one. Felix Okechukwu said, now mouth na get, your leaders don't have one single spine. This is the effect of being foolishly religious. You can never take hard decisions when necessary. Same country can never reintegrate terrorists. Avua Honda says, the disheartening thing is that the president of South Africa remains docile in the midst of this madness. What exactly is the value of a Nigerian? We must place strong value on lives now. Good morning to our YouTube audience. Someone even shared an account, a Nigerian who was, who has lived in South Africa, shared an account about how the police would just randomly stop and search people, Nigerians in particular, expecting you to have drugs on. That one day they stopped him and that they searched him. And when they searched him, they didn't find anything, and they asked him, how do you not have drugs on you? What kind of stereotype is that?
Let's go to X. Let's see what is being said on X very quickly. How Nigerians are reacting to this sad and unfortunate story. Kalu Aja goes ahead to say this is state-sponsored murder. That's what he says very clearly. He says, forget what nationality he is from. The police in South Africa are clearly seen suffocating the suspect, who is already in handcuffs. The police then claimed the suspect died of a heart attack. Nigeria must not allow this to be dismissed. The suspect's family must see the South African government. Must sue. Okay, I can see that. Must sue the South African government. Let's see another tweet very quickly here on X. The federal government is supposed to take this matter by themselves. An individual will hardly win against the government in their own country. This is supposed to be a federal government fight. That's versus federal government versus federal government fight. But are those in authority ready or willing? Well, I can tell you that the president has taken one of the first steps, not wanting to see them, and I think that's what it means. We're going to shut our doors, but let's wait to see. There's a statement clearly on that death. Ambassador Oga Emmanuel says, ever since this march started, South African government has not made one arrest of people instigating this violence. We agree. It is very clear the movement is probably backed by their government. We don't know about that, but we agree that arrests haven't been made, especially after the killing of Big Joe and other Nigerians who were initially killed just a while back. Nigerian government are doing nothing about this. I can tell you that one for sure. They have responded with just facade, meeting upon meeting. No sanctions, no cut in trades. They are more concerned about revenue than life. That's what Franco says. And we do understand your tweets for those who tweet with those whose tweets we've selected. A brutal murder of Nigerian citizens by South African police. This is totally unacceptable. The police officers involved in this cruel murder must be brought to face justice by the South African government, Danjuma S. Yange says. This is horrific to watch. Trust me, it was tough, but we had to put it out there this morning for you Nigerians to see and the world, because, I mean, we're a news source, so you can get to understand. The actions of these police officers shouldn't go unchallenged. That's all the tweets we're going to take. We must use this medium to sincerely apologize if you were triggered by that video, just like we warned you earlier on that you may be triggered if you watched that video. But we're going to have a conversation around this in the course of Breakfast Central today, and we'll get to find out what the Nigerian government should do. The African Union, many have said they're spineless. We'll also find out what they can do as well. But let's move on to our next story very quickly. The House of Representatives has given the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, 48 hours to produce certain prints. Adeyemi Adeniyi, you say the embattled, the self-acclaimed Director General of the controversial Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council, PFIPC, for questioning. The lawmakers insists his testimony is crucial to clarify allegations of fraud, forged documents, and illegal budget allocations. The House committee directed the IGP to present Adeyemi Adeniyi by 12 noon on Wednesday, July 29, 2026. Adeyemi had paraded himself as DG of PFIPC and the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, despite both lacking any legal establishment. Investigators have also uncovered 29 allegedly forged documents linked to Adeyemi, allegedly, take note, including approvals supposedly from top government offices. The police confirm he has already been charged in court. But the House insists he must appear in person to clarify these allegations. Committee Chairman Yusuf Gagdi stressed that this is not optional. He said people's names, reputations, and institutions are at stake, and Adeyemi's testimony is vital to protect the integrity of governance. Yesterday, someone who was expected to speak in the House did show up, but let's get to show you what went down.
Using State House letterhead to OAGF requesting for an administrative code to be created for the agency. OAGF responded, giving that administrative code, and sent a letter to State House, informing the State House about the creation as requested. Like I said, the request to open the account came from the agency, and so when it comes, it's minuted down to the appropriate department concerned with the evaluation of the request, which is the funds department. And it was briefed up that the account should be opened. Definitely the Accountant General will authorize when the briefing comes up. The two domiciliary accounts opened were never operational because the council did not meet up with the laid down requirement why the TSA account request was declined.
Okay, that video is quite lengthy than what we just showed to you. Yesterday, the accountant's Secretary General was there being questioned, and a lot of things that were being said is we thought, we believed, we assumed. That was some of the points I could pick. I really wish we had more time. We would play the full length of that video, how he explained that they didn't know, he didn't know, his office did not know that the office was occupied by PFIPC, and then 2 of their staff was working with the embattled Prince.
They were seconded to the ministry.
They were seconded to the ministry. How he didn't know, how he assumed that, I'm sorry, I don't buy all of that statement.
I mean, it's unprecedented territory. It's never happened before. This has to be the biggest scandal when it comes to fake institutions or the credibility of government institutions. And it's not just one. There are multiple institutions that have been indicted. The Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank of Nigeria, name it, even the Federal Civil Service, because you're wondering how it got a space in the secretariat. But I'm all for anything that would lead to answers so that we can avoid this sort of embarrassing situation in the future. And those responsible will have to face the music, the wrath of the law, and pay for it one way or the other. But what I'm seeing here is, I don't know, Olive is the lawyer, maybe she'll shed more light on it. It's conflicting jurisdiction and multiple investigations happening at the same time, which, I mean, it's not a bad thing in itself. But when everyone is jostling for the attention of the star witness and the man in the eye of the storm to come give his testimony, you know, threats are being made, produce him in 48 hours, would it not affect the 30-day ultimatum jurisdiction that Mr. President gave the ICPC, which seems to be the sole body that everyone is looking at, because there's a presidential directive to that. Also, the Nigerian police's own investigation, and then you also have the House of Reps, which, I mean, members of the public have been able to see their interactions and the questions of interested parties and stakeholders in this whole affair, which I think it's a good thing. But Olive, I leave you to make your comments.
I honestly don't have any comments. I'm tired of this case at this time. You know, I'm really tired because it just feels like a lot of talk and no action. We're just raising.
I mean, we're seeing action. Yesterday, the Accountant General.
Action for me.
The Senate.
I want to see the conclusion of this matter.
Okay.
It's not
the talks.
Yes, all the talks. I'm exhausted with all the talks. 30 days for ICPC to bring their reports. This one is doing investigation. Let's just get to
for me, I just want to say there's no harm in bringing the embattled DG to the House of Reps.
Won't he be sub judice?
No. No. Listen, he has been... The House of Rep, let's recall that they also have a duty. They have their name to also clear. It shocks me that the Senate has kept mute. And let the Senate not forget that they ought not to keep quiet in this issue, because whether you like it or not, you have to look through the budgets before it's being sent to the president. So I like what the House of Rep is doing. If they actually put their pen to paper and say yes, after seeing that agency on Nigeria's fiscal budget, it's only right for them to come back after they've been told that that agency is not real, but it was listed. So they have to, and that's what they're doing. They're carrying out due diligence, which is what is expected from, in short, I was expecting a joint assembly, a national assembly.
Joint investigation.
A joint investigation from the National Assembly, both the Green and the Red Chamber. Both of them sit down. You don't need everybody to sit down, don't get me wrong. They have other things to attend
like the committee.
But of course, the committee should sit down and let them say, okay, you know what, bring the certain Prince here. Prince, how are you? Sit down. Bring the Accountant General, sit down. Bring a rep from the CBN, sit down. They brought the other lady the other time. Everybody sit down at the same time. This, he said, she said, everybody sit down. Let it be a proper parliament. Okay, let's start from you. What did you say happened? How did you get this? So that it won't be a case of, oh, we heard what this person said. Let's change the story to this way. No time.
To further highlight what Joe has said, I think the first part that I got really turned off with this story was when Senate said that they were not going to probe it because
will be sub judice.
Exactly. They said the matter will be sub judice. It's already in court. And then when I've forgotten his name now. Anyway, when the Senate then also went on to say, they gave another reason for why they will not be investigating it when the matter is sub judice. I've forgotten the second matter. Oh yeah, that it's not within their purview to scrutinize the heads of MDAs, that they only look at the budgets. That was when I started to look at this story a different kind of way, because the question was then, if you say it's not your responsibility, do you not ask questions before approving any line item on the budget? If not, how do you explain that that went through scrutiny? Again, this would then point to the fact that we're just doing copy and paste. I will cap it up by saying I'm tired of all the many plethora of threats and summons and investigations. July, August, I hope that we get to the root of this matter, that the people that need to be arrested, the people that need to answer in court, and we get a finalization of this matter. It should be a speedy or accelerated hearing. Investigations should happen, and we need to, let it not be like a case of Yaya Bello or Godwin Emefiele and all the other ones that are taking longer than usual. Speedy acceleration of this is what will make sense to us. Anyway, all right, let's take comments on X regarding the story, and then we'll come back on YouTube to take comments as well. On X, I still maintain that that man wouldn't be able to pull it off without a strong insider. That's what Mohammed says. And then the next one says, this is just all funny. Adeyemi gamed your system, the system of the federal government of Nigeria. It's amazing. Hello, Uche says. The AG dropping this kind of bombshell about Adeyemi's agency is wild. It sounds like someone was playing a very dangerous game with paperwork. Kura Opunklo says. And the next tweet regarding this, these guys think they are talking to kids. Eustace Ezena says. And the next tweet, he's even shaky and uncomfortable because he used the words often and changes as soon as he knew the consequences. That's all. On YouTube, Marcus McCain says, okay, no, I'll start from Theophilus Ijoma says, this country is a crime scene. Imagine this happening in the US or UK. And then Marcus McCain says, sorry to say this, the government are not being sincere because many people are involved in this mess. From the statement of the Accountant General, you will agree with me that something is actually wrong. And he goes on to say, News Central, seriously, you guys are so special in all the way you carry out your program. I've stopped watching some stations because of their selfish interest in analyzing. Thank you, Marcos. And finally, Theophilus Ijoma says, the Senate are in the know of what actually happened in the PFIPC scam. Progressives are seriously working together. It's an organized crime emanating from the presidency. One man suffering for authorities telling you be thief. I know be thief, Frank Obute says. And Felix Okechukwu says, all talk, no action. A month for a committee to sit. For what exactly? Let me tell you guys the verdict. Nothing will happen. And if nothing happens, or more, it is well.
You can rightly say that the word that starts with B and ends with A, when people say with Republic, is what we have to be ready.
Well, that's all that we have. You can keep your comments coming on YouTube. Thank you for the comments. Oh, there's no way that I will miss this comment earlier in YouTube. Crazy Lover Fool says, Joe looks so handsome this morning. Nice suit, man.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah.
Merci beaucoup.
So, collect your flower.
Merci. Merci.
Before people say it's only me they used to compliment.
Thank you.
Let's share with you what our top stories are this morning on Breakfast Central. This morning, President Tinubu declines meeting with South African envoy over xenophobic attacks. That's our big story this morning. We're looking at it. Tensions rise ahead of Osun State Governorship election. We're counting down the days. August 15th is just around the corner. And then we'll be looking at the PFIPC probe. AGF admits budget code approval and accounts opening. So who is the thief here? School abductions. Dozens of Borno children remain in captivity. We're still looking at the Askari Oba children. And the newspaper front pages will be looked at this morning. Join us for all these.
Welcome back. Political tension is mounting in Osun State ahead of the governorship election, with a series of security incidents raising fresh concerns about the credibility of the polls. In the past few days, there have been reports of an alleged attack on Nigerian Navy personnel, the invasion of an INEC permanent voter card distribution center, and violence at a major motor park in Osogbo. The Osun State government has also accused police officers of aiding political thugs in some of the incidents, as videos that came online actually showed it to be so.
The developments have further heightened the political temperature in the state, with both the government and the opposition trading accusations over security and the conduct of the election. While the police say investigations are ongoing, the state government is calling for urgent federal intervention, insisting that all security agencies must remain neutral and ensure a peaceful, free and credible governorship poll.
Join us this morning on Breakfast Central to discuss these developments and the growing concern over election security in Osun State. We're joined by the Honourable Commissioner for Information in Osun State, Honourable Kolapo Alimi. A warm welcome to you, Honourable Alimi, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Honourable Commissioner, we've heard reports of several security incidents within a short period of time ahead of the governorship elections. How concerned is the government about the current security situation in Osun?
Thank you for this opportunity. As a government, we are very much concerned. Our governor is a peace-loving man. He's so much concerned. And the situation in Osun is quite unfortunate. It is like as if we have two sets of rules for the APC and others. What is going on in Osun today is an impunity at the highest level. The compromise of the police especially is unprecedented. And we are calling on all well-meaning Nigerians to call on the federal government to caution the police. We don't know how to describe it, because the police institution is actually established to fight crime. A situation whereby the police will be seen accompanying hoodlums, known hoodlums, to go and be taking over the motor parks with brigandage is unprecedented. What we usually see before is that maybe the hoodlum might be doing something and the police will look away. We have been witnessing that in Osun before, and we know that might be common to any other area. But the current situation is that even the police will not be in the forefront, while the hoodlums will be carrying out their nefarious activities. The situation has degenerated to the extent that about 2-3 days ago, in their quest to take over the motor park illegally, the APC thugs, they went to Ilefe. And when they got there, they were shooting, they were doing their brigandage. And the people in Ife sent a safe souls to some naval personnel, which were not too far from that place. The personnel came and they brought everything under control and arrested 5 members of the gang of the hoodlums. Unfortunately, the police called the police commissioner, Ibrahim Gotham, called the commandant of that naval officer on ground that they need to release them to the police. The police, the naval men informed them that they have to get clearance from their Oga, their boss, at their station, at their barracks. Alas, the CP just called on the mobile policemen. 4 trucks of mobile policemen was mobilized to that scene, and they even smoke the naval officer and all the people there, and they took away the hoodlums and released them. So if the thing has generated to that level, I think it calls for concern and worries. Earlier on, when they started their brigandage, what happened was that they were accompanying these people around. But when we shouted, I thought they retreated a bit, because you will see, you have someone on the video now, you will see the brigandage going on and you see the policemen standing aloof. That is why it is quite unfortunate and unprecedented. And we can only call on our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We stated it clear, loud and clear, that the president needs to be president for all. Our president is not only president for the APC people. And the National Security Advisor, Malam Noor Ibadu, the Inspector General of Police came here. and he promised heaven and heart. Since then, it keep on aggravating, and nothing concrete has been done. And all in all is about this coming election. These people know that the people have rejected them. They have done all their propaganda, it didn't work. Recently, too, they went as far as sabotaging the project of the government in order to show to the whole world that the project are substandard. They are doing all sorts of things, but we are calling on the security people to be fair and not biased, especially the police, because when it comes to internal security, the police is number one. All others will only complement whatever the police is doing. If the police has compromised, then it will be difficult for the army or navy or air force or even DSS to do something tangible. The police is the one that has its presence all over the state. All other agencies and they do not have that capacity. So what we are saying, in essence, is that situation, we want it to be brought under control. We want our election to be free and fair. We want the vote of the people to count. That is just it.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us and speaking to this point. But I want you to speak further on something. You said that they have gone to the extent of sabotaging government contracts or government projects to be able to make their point. Are you talking about the roads?
Yes, I talk about the flyover.
Okay.
If I want to start from the beginning, they started their shenanigans from day one when we got to government. They started blackmailing all sorts of things, but when they got to certain stage, they use local government issue. They have been using that one to sabotage it since February. Since February 2025, when we had just spent 2 years and 2 months, if you could recollect, we came to power on November ending 2022. So you can only count for us December in 2022. So December 2022 to December 2023, that is 1 year. December 2023 to December 2024, that is 2 years. So when you now see January and February 2025, so they started their program in 2025 when we had only spent 2 years and 2 months. Since February 2025, they have stopped all allocation coming to our local government. Then later on, they use abracadabra. They ask all the APC to go and open private accounts. And from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, this is really bizarre. Office of the Accountant General of the Federation and the Federal Ministry of Finance, they authorize the payment of public funds to be going to private accounts of individuals. And against the law of Osun State, which stipulates those that are supposed to be signatory to any public account to include at the local government level, the head of finance, the head of admin, they ignore those ones, and the APC people are the one operating the account. That is what they have been doing. And the responsibility of the local government since February to the tune of 6.5 billion naira to 7 billion naira. I mean, the salary of primary school teachers, the salary of local government staff, the salary of health workers at the local government, and so on and so forth, which ordinarily, constitutionally and statutorily is supposed to be borne by the local, from the local government allocations, is being borne by the state, because you cannot allow this category of people not to be paid. That is what they have been doing. They thought being that one will make our government collapse. When that one fails, they started shooting around. They've killed a lot of people, a lot of our members. You see them shooting around sporadically. Then when we escalated that one and we shouted on that one came around before they now started the issue of a takeoff of the local government.
Okay.
And when that one was on way, they now move on to this sort of a project to sabotage our project. They are doing all these things just because the security, the policemen, and they are collaborating with them. Because if by the time they are doing their shooting around, if most of those hoodlums have been arrested, they will not have the opportunity of say they want to take over our parks. They will not have the opportunity of going to a huge project and be sabotaging them.
Honorable Commissioner, I wanted you to set that foundation for us, sir. Just to confirm, this is the 8.52 billion naira Lameko flyover in Osogbo. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
so we've seen Governor Adeleke, who has publicly accused unnamed politicians of sponsoring the sabotage of this project. And you have affirmed and confirmed that, and that's what I wanted to set the stage for. But what would you say to those who believe that this is just an excuse that has been put forward by your administration to avoid accountability as to questions concerning, first of all, the bidding process of that project, the quality of the materials used to build that project, and that this is just a very convenient excuse to avoid accountability? What would your response be?
When some people came up with that one, it is laughable. When you know the bidding process, our governments we are law abiding. We usually follow the due process, so we don't have problem with that one. All our projects they pass through the due process as it's supposed to be. But apart from that one, the system put on ground will not allow anything of that nature to happen. First and foremost, when you award a contract, you give the contract to a contractor. There will still be another body, is known as consultant, to supervise the project. It is according to law. The consultant that supervises our project is the same consultant that is supervising Third Mainland Bridge and has supervised so many projects in Abuja. So it is not about trying to use excuse for this thing. It's not. Look at this one. This is a clear case of sabotage, and you can just go to this project and see for yourself. Apart from that one, when they have started preparing ground for this one, when they were shouting here and there, we brought the Nigerian Society of Engineers to Osogbo. They came, they have inspected all our projects. The Council of Register of Foreign, Council of Register Engineers in Nigeria, they came, they have given pass back to our project. If professionals have given pass to our project, then what else do you do? But what can you do about somebody who wants to sabotage you? If you are building a house and somebody wants to sabotage it, and after you have put on electrical wire and so somebody had gone there to remove something, or even your station, if somebody had gone there to remove some microphone, will you blame the contractor for that one? So what you are saying is that this is a clear case of sabotage. You understand? The one you are seeing now, some people went to an area and drilled there. So and just put very small nylon. Water was actually sinking, and nobody will know. And people were passing on this road. Later on, the water, because we are in the rainy season, the place was waterlogged. So when you see what they are doing, they have been shouting and shouting about it. Okay, if you say this is a case of we trying to cover up our inefficiency. What about the one I told you? I told you since February they have been sabotaging us with fund 6.5 to 7 billion every month, which we are supposed to use for development in the state. We are using it to pay local government staff, and they are enjoying, they are sharing the money. The only thing they claim to have done was that they bought vehicle for the policemen. You understand it? In the state. And we said, yes, the issue of security is very important. I say you have bought vehicle from the local government to the policemen. What about the remaining fund? They do not give account. Okay, before you even say you want to buy vehicle for the policemen, please, you need to ask questions. Policemen also, they claim they do not have vehicles. Yes, if they claim they do not have vehicles, what happened to the police trust fund? What is the duty of a Minister of Police Affairs? What is now the Office of National Security Advisor doing? The Office of Inspector General of Police, what are they doing? All the huge amount of money which is being projected for police and other security. Who are the people sitting on those money? So you can't abdicate your own responsibility, primary responsibility, and then take up the responsibility of the federal government to the detriment of the pensioners in Osun State, the pensioners which are supposed to collect their gratuity and allowances from the local government pay. You don't pay them. Those are entitled to salary. You don't pay them. So if they say we are using the issue of a project, the damage to the project to cover our inefficiency, what about that one? What about the takeoff of the local of the parks? The LNRTW, they have their own constitution. They have way of doing their of removing and replacing their leadership. Brigandage is not in their constitution, and the man they are using is somebody who is having a case of murder at our High Court, and he has been appointed in FCT as one of the leader in the park there, only for them to imported him to this place to come and cause a brigandage. All this thing is just because we have a set of people who have been rejected, and they thought they could only come to this to governance in this state through the use of what they term federal might. They tout it everywhere. They have listed about 300 of us now to be picked up any moment from now and be taken to Abuja. Our candidate in Ijesa South Federal Constituency, that is, we comprise of Atakumansa West, Atakumansa East, Ilesa West, and Ilesa East, Alaba, has been arrested about 3 days ago when he was with our canvassers talking to them. They arrested him, they searched his house. Initially, they said they had the petition that he had arms and ammunition in his house. They searched the house, they couldn't get anything. They searched everywhere. When they took him to the station, they now said, excuse me, he will be charged for terrorism, and then he will be charged for illegal mining. They are just looking for all frivolous excuses to take up everybody.
So
and
what is
shouting, praying to our president to be president to every one of us.
So, Honorable Alimi, it seems like, I mean, it currently seems like Osun State is under siege right now. It seems there's no breathing space for anyone in that state. And this has been going on for quite a long time, like you've mentioned. But my question to you this morning is, one, has the governor reached out to the IG, Inspector General of Police? So far, so good. Has he spoken to him? Have you also had any conversation with him in line with the security or insecurity in the state? Two, why is it so bad right now ahead of the elections? Is there something that these persons want so dearly, and that's why they're trying to ensure that they're bent on breaking law and order?
Well, on the issue of Inspector General of Police, we still need to give the IG some benefit of doubt. The IGP came here. We have to give kudos to him for leaving his comfort in Abuja and come down to our state. But on getting to this place, he had some private discussion with Mr. Governor, and the governor gave him the download of everything. When he came before the camera as an official courtesy visit, he then said the CP told him the governor is harboring some criminals at the government house. That was strange. The governor replied that that's not correct, and that you can come to the government house and check. And look at it. All the officers manning the government house, they are from the federal government. The policemen manning the government house, their career is being guided by the Police Service Commission, and they're under the control of the IGP. The same with the DSS, they're under the federal government. The civil defense under the federal government. How on earth the IGP that came, and you had a private discussion with the governor, you did not mention that to the governor, only for you to get to the camera and be saying it. That is, they are trying as much as possible to make it look as if it is both sides that are doing it. It is not possible. If any APC member does anything in Osun today, it is with impunity. Police will not arrest him. But if an accord man try just an attempt, he will be picked up. So how can you say it is balanced? So that very day, later on, I made a video and I sent it to the IGP. That is displayed to the gallery. We know that the government house is sacred, but the sacredness of the government house does not mean that a criminal should harbor there. It is only take you to call the CSO of the government house that so person is there. Please inform the governor you want to come and pick him, or ask the policeman at the government house to bring him to you. So it is quite unfortunate, but we are still giving the IGP some level of benefit of that the IGP should act. The governor has called him several times. He has so many complaints. We have complained so much about the CP. But we might just excuse the CP too, because the APC in Osun has been branching that even if the CP is transferred, another one that will be brought to will be worse, because they said they are going to use policemen to do whatever they like.
I mean, Honorable Commissioner.
As per your second question, your second question was the aim. It's an open secret Election is less than 3 weeks. They are looking for all means to take over. People have rejected them. But despite all their shenanigans, I told you, they have been trying so many options. They have been failing. We know they will fail on this too. On the issue of takeoff of the local of the motor parks, we are hearing from them, from their locals, that on the day of the election, their men will be the one to drive the electoral materials, and they will drive it to wherever they like. They might not get to the polling unit. We know that it's not practicable. They are only dreaming. The whole world will watch for election. We will see how they will take materials to another place instead of the designated place. We will see how they will say they want to do collation in another place instead of the designated place. We will see how they will prevent all our agents and all international observers and local observers from observing the election. We are waiting for them. People are waiting for them. We know their plan will fail. That is just it.
Honourable Commissioner, from our discussion this morning, I'm sure residents of Osun State and Nigerians at large are worried about the developments in Osun State, the build-up to the elections. And beyond the allegations, they're worried about their safety and the credibility of the upcoming elections. And this might lead to widespread voter apathy, because people will say, look, my life is more important than going out there to vote if my security is not guaranteed. So what steps is the Adeleke administration and the authorities and stakeholders taken to ensure and reassure voters that there won't be violence on election day and they should come out and exercise their franchise?
Thank you very much. We have been enlightening our people, and we have to give kudos to our people. They are resolute. The civil servants, they are resolute. The public servants in Osun, the NMA, the NUT, National Local Government Employee, NOGE, the NSC, they are resolute. The pensioners, they are resolute. The artisans, we told them, don't fight anybody on the day of the election. You have your phone. People with smartphone, record all the events. Go out and go and vote. Don't fight. Don't be intimidated. Resist all attempts to be intimidated. This is democracy. You have to be firm to stand for democracy. The struggle for democracy is still ongoing. We know we shall get there. So we have been enlightening our people, and people are well enlightened. As far the aim, exactly what you have stated happened to be the aim. They want to scare the people away on the day of voting so that people will not come out to vote. That happened to be the issue, because so many people have been killed, so many injured. Our local government party chairman in Osun, Ibeh Chika, was attacked with gun. Nobody was arrested. One Bola or thereabout in Esauki was killed. Up to this moment, names were mentioned. Nobody was arrested. And they killed Irewole local government, the hometown of the APC candidate, even in the same ward. The son of our women leader, Eluira, was killed. Nobody was arrested. It took a lot of effort and shout when a guy, a small boy of 14 years, was killed in the Ilobi-Repon local government. The guy that was arrested since we learned he will be brought out occasionally to come and be roaming about and show his force, and will be taken back. That's the only one that has been arrested. So what we are saying is that already there is fear, but we have been talking to the people, enlightening them. That is the purpose. Don't let them achieve their aim. You have to come out, because first and foremost, you have to safeguard yourself. Look at it before. We have a cap, yellow cap. Our color is yellow. People adore the cap everywhere. Before, when they started shooting, they were injuring people who put on cap, and everybody decided not to put on the cap again. Then one day, a woman came to my house. He came to beg me, Commissioner, please, because they live very close to me. I live in my town. As I'm talking, I'm in my town in Osun local government. They live very close to me. He came to beg me that his husband, her husband, happened to be a Korokwe bus driver, and that she used to adore our cap. And now she discovered that anybody putting on cap will be attacked. That she has packed all the caps, and that her husband, she want the husband not to put on the caps. The husband was still putting it on. Then she packed all the caps. He now said she knows her husband very well. that the husband might come to me to come and collect another car. She come to beg me, please, Commissioner, if my husband come to you to come and collect another car, please don't give him the car. We know what will happen on the day of the election, we are going to vote, but I don't want people to injure him. So I told the woman, well, I can't blame you. That's the situation. If your husband come to this place, I will not give him any other car. I will equally call him, at least for now, not to put on the car, but the situation will soon improve. So that is the extent of what they have done. But that notwithstanding, we are reassuring our people that on the day of the election will be peaceful. And we have gotten the assurance of the military that on the day of the election, they will not allow anybody to carry out brigandage. So I will still use this opportunity to call our people not to be intimidated. Come out on the day of the election, come and exercise your franchise.
But if you don't trust the police, if you accuse the police of being complicit in a number of the quote-unquote criminal activities that happened in the state, how do you then guarantee citizens to come out and guarantee their safety when the police, who should typically protect them, on the day of the elections, the police that you've accused now of being culpable in these crimes?
What can you do? We are talking of state institutions, but the moment on the day of the election, what we had, the assurance we have now is that the CP here will not be the only one in charge. Other commissioner of police, so many of them will come. Other security forces will come. The Army, the Air Force, the DSS, the Navy, the Civil Defense, and Amatekun, all of them. The Amatekun will not be on the day of the election, but all other security forces will mobilize to this place. We believe, and all you journalists too will be there. And at that one, we restore a little bit of sanity, which we believe will enable the people to come out to vote. And then the moment voting has taken place and we monitor the collation and everything, then we know that day will be peaceful. Everything they are doing, we know it will end on the eve of the election. I doubt whether the federal government will allow them to continue the brigandage on the day of the election, because they know that will be so dangerous. The international community, the international observers will be on ground to write their report. I doubt whether they will go to that extent.
Okay. All right. We'll wait to see what will happen as we count down to the elections. But we want to ask that you please keep your lines open, as we may have to reach out to you again concerning developing stories in Osun State. Thank you for your time, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. Please, anytime, call on us, because this enlightenment will go a long way to solve a lot of problems. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Let's tell you what's coming up next here on Breakfast Central. So far, so good. First hour done. Next, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declines meeting with South African envoy over xenophobic attacks. We'll talk about that. Reps give IGP 48 hours to present self, you could say PFIPC DG. 7th Pan-African Parliament session, we'll look at that. And of course, the developing story out there in Delta State. Stay with us.
The House of Representatives has intensified its investigation into the operation of the controversial Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council, directing the Inspector General of Police to produce the organization's self-acclaimed DG, Adeyemi Adeniyi, before its investigative committee. Lawmakers are examining how an organization alleged not to have been legally established reportedly secured office space within the federal secretariat and appeared in the 2026 Appropriation Act with a proposed budgetary allocation of 1.32 billion naira.
Now, during the investigative hearing, the Nigeria Police Force confirmed that criminal charges had already been filed against the suspect following petitions alleging that he falsely presented himself as the Director General of the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council and the Presidential Economic Advisory Council. Investigators also confirmed allegations that forged documents were used to obtain official recognition, office accommodation, recruitment approvals, and other government privileges. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. We're looking at the latest regarding the DG of the PFIPC, as well as the House of Representatives directing the Inspector General of Police to produce him within 48 hours. We're joined by legal practitioner Magnus Onwukwe. Thank you very much for being here. So far, with what you've seen, with the direction by the House of Rep, with the president's instruction to the ICPC, the general conduct of the investigation of this matter, does it tell you that there is a seriousness on the part of the government, on the part of law enforcement, to get to the bottom of this situation or this scandal?
Oh, thank you for having me again this morning. Thank you so much. What we call the Badger Gate. You see, this brouhaha of the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Commission, or Council as it's called, is a mixed potpourri, I must say. Today this, tomorrow that. The question is, whereas the matter is said to be in court, it is sub judice, why the order for investigation? Why the order for probing? Why all these demands? Ordinarily, by flow of events in judicial procedures and precedents, once a matter is pending in court, we say that matter, having been least pendens, is sub judice, and there should not be further commentaries or inquiries into such a matter. The question is, isn't it curious that the police were so much in a hurry to file an action in court against Prince Adeyemi Adeniyi? Has police fully conducted discreet investigation to unravel all the mysteries that surrounds, quote, his fake appointment? I put the fake in parentheses. Has they unraveled it? Now look at it. The president ordered further investigation. The House of Reps is calling for probe. Now I want to concern myself, and I want other Nigerians to concern themselves with the word investigation vis-a-vis the word probe. The Police Act, particularly Section 4 of the Police Act, empowers the police to investigate and prosecute. As it were at this point in time, it is presumed that the police has investigated and now they are prosecuting. What is probe? But before we look at the word probe, investigation means looking into a matter or a crime, as the case may be. This is legal definition of the word investigate. Probe, on the other hand, is an official inquiry after investigation. That presupposes that when a probe is called, there is distrust on investigation. So the House of Reps called for probe of Prince Adeyemi Adeniyi over this purported fake appointment of his DGship of Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Commission is an indictment on the integrity, capability, and capacity of the Nigerian police. It's an indictment, government of itself. Now, it must be noted that the whole brouhaha surrounding this fake DGship has so many concomitant shades thereto. The Accountant General has made statements. The CBN has made statements. The Office of the Secretary of Federal Government has made statements. The Office of Chief of Staff have made statements. The Presidency has also issued statements. ICPC and EFCC are being invited to investigate vis-a-vis the police. Not forget that the DSS has also made statements. In all this, each one contradicting and conflicting with the other one. Nigerians deserve to know the truth. They are about to silence and conceal the actual fact surrounding the emergence of Prince Adeyemi Matthew, the self-acclaimed DG of Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Commission. So I think that the order of the House of Representatives on the IG is in the right direction. Nigerians need to know what is going on. By the way, this commission or council, as the case may be, as has been revealed thus far, had been existent dating back to President Buhari's time. But Adeyemi's emergence took place sometime October 2024. Not today. This is 2026. The fact is yet to be known. The more we are looking, the less we are seeing. So there is a need for public inquiry. I have shared on this platform a fortnight ago that what shall give us the true truth in the whole of this brouhaha is for independent body of inquiry comprising of the Nigerian police, Nigerian Labour Congress, Nigeria NUJ, the NBA, and perhaps not salvaging or altering Nigeria's sovereignty on the altar of investigation, perhaps Amnesty International, some foreign agencies to assist us in digging deep with a view of unraveling the mystery behind this so-called fake agency. How can there be fake agency? If we say the agency is fake, that presupposes that all the arms of government that supposed to have screened and vet and land approval failed. They are all fake, as it were.
Okay, I mean, you said a lot, and from being sub judice to you going ahead to say, in order for the truth to be established, it's okay if the House of Representatives ask the IGP to produce the embattled DG before them. But what's also your take on the fact that the Senate have refused to tamper with this situation? They've alleged, or they've mentioned rather, that it's a case of being sub judice. Besides that, they've also said they will not in any way look into the case. So what's your take on that? Do you think the Senate should have also joined in ensuring that the truth was unraveled?
Frankly speaking, as a lawyer, I think that no one, not the Senate, not even the House of Reps, should, at this point, venture into probing this matter because the matter is sub judice. But talking about the Senate, this current Senate, chaired or headed by Senator Akpabio, your take is as good as mine. The Senate, there's no need for us to, we know what this Senate represents. By the way, the Senate is the last, though they do have joint houses, but it's the last clearing chamber in Nigeria of appointments. Whereas the office, I'm digressing, whereas the office of the Chief of Staff to the President is the desk that clears incoming files and outgoing files to the presidency, and that office is kind of denying the fact that it is the office of the Secretary of the Federal Government that issues appointments. We know that, as the case may be, including this case in time, that the office of the Chief of Staff to the President is much more powerful in this government than the office of the Secretary of the Federal Government. So the Senate, who seems to be inactive or unconcerned about this matter, knows what they are running away from, with due respect. Otherwise, why shouldn't the Senate be interested in knowing how come about this fake agency that their chamber ought to take responsible of its clearance or of its emergence. After all, it was this same Senate that passed the budget that made provision for the existence or for the expenditure of NPIF. This Senate passed it.
Okay.
Now, looking at what's going on, and Nigerians are very interested in this case, how do we, which should take precedent, and whose report should we look forward to seeing at the conclusion of their investigations? I also want to know if you consider what the House of Representatives is doing as a public inquiry, because you said that Nigeria deserves a public inquiry, and some of the interactions have been broadcasted to Nigerians. So the question is, whose report is likely to hold more weight, and should we look forward to seeing at the end of investigations, the House of Representatives or Mr. President's directive to the ICPC?
Oh yes. You see, as Nigerians, we have this distrust with the Nigerian police. Ordinarily, as I had echoed earlier, Section 4 of the Police Act empowers the police exclusively to investigate matters such as this. However, we have the ICPC, the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission. They are also empowered to investigate stuff like this. We equally have the EFCC. But the case of the endemic corruption in Nigeria, Nigerians have lost confidence in these agencies. And these agencies, unfortunately, conduct their investigations in secret, discreetly. But that of National Assembly is conducted openly. It attracts, it welcomes public participation. So if I'm to make my judgment on which of these shall Nigerians trust or believe, Nigerians, including my humble self, will be more comfortable in watching the proceedings, participating in the proceedings of the National Assembly probe with a view of unraveling the truth behind this mystery. This is not far-fetched because of lack of confidence, lack of trust, the distrust that is endemic amongst us owing to the fact that the institutions had continually failing Nigerians. Why has police rushed to court, having not fully conducted discreet investigation on this matter? And as usual today, police is still investigating, yet they are in court. DSS is still investigating, yet they are in court. Come on.
A lot can be said, but let's wait and see. 48 hours is just around the corner. The countdown started yesterday. It will expire.
24 hours.
24, yes. It will expire later today, and then it will expire tomorrow. So likely between tomorrow and Thursday, we should have an update.
A quick one. Should at expiration of the countdown, IG refuses to produce Mr. Adeyemi, what would the House of Rep do?
That's a good question.
Just last week.
That's a good question. We'll leave that to them. We'll leave it to their discretion and see what they will do at the end of the day. But thank you so much for speaking with us here this morning on Breakfast Central. Thank you. Let's move on now to our next story here on Breakfast Central. Let's tell you what definitely is an update. Olive?
Indeed, we're continuing the conversation we started earlier today regarding what's happening in South Africa. Fresh diplomatic tensions appear to be emerging between Nigeria and South Africa following reports that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declined to receive a special envoy sent by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa amid renewed concerns over xenophobic attacks on Nigerians living in South Africa. The reported decision comes in the wake of the alleged killing of Nigerian citizen Chika Ibeh in Cape Town, an incident that has reignited public outrage over the safety of Nigerians abroad and renewed calls for stronger action against xenophobia.
Well, according to reports, the South African delegation was expected to deliver an important message from President Ramaphosa. However, Nigerian officials reportedly insisted that meaningful diplomatic engagement should be preceded by concrete action, including the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding on the early warning mechanism signed by both countries in 2025. The agreement was designed to strengthen cooperation on citizen protection, prevent xenophobic violence, and improve responses to consular issues. Joining us to examine this situation is no other than a diplomatic, you could say, an African affairs analyst and one who has followed the diplomacy, not just in Africa, but of course globally. Dr. David Osanga makes it here on time to see if we can make this conversation a very bogus one. Good morning and thank you for being here, Dr. Masanga.
Good morning, all of you, first in the studios in Lagos. I'm happy to see three of you all the time. When I see you, I smile. Therefore, a subject is going to be very good, bold, and I tell my truth. If you don't want to listen to me, at 71 years, I'm going home. I don't care now. Africa have said enough. Thank you. Let's go.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga. Just last Friday, the President of the Republic of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, dispatched a high-level delegation to Abuja to discuss with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and they refused to see him. The head of that delegation was the Department of Foreign Relations and Corporations Minister, Ronald Lamola. What diplomatic message does this decision by the Nigerian presidency and the Nigerian president not to see him, what sort of message does he send?
First of all, I have been caught up in this issue between friends. South Africans are my friends. West Africans, most of them are my friends. Mahama, I've never met Tinubu, but I have met Mahama several times on this issue. And I've met several African heads of state who have suffered the same fate. Like in Nigeria, Ghana, we have lost people also in Uganda. We have lost people from Kenya, Mozambique, Malawi. I've met most of these heads of state. Now, let me be very candid. I think Ramaphosa should have sent himself. Ramaphosa should avail himself first to the president of Nigeria. On this one, maybe it is the first time that I will talk very favorably about what Nigeria has done. These are people who have lost people. These are aggrieved. People have died, and not whites from Europe. These are fellow Africans who have died. And this Africa, this is the Africa we liberated. This is the last colony. Most of you are younger people. Most of us took part, surrendered our passports, gave them our names, money to be able to liberate themselves. The treatment they have done on many of Africans must be condemned. But again, we must not escalate this issue. This is what I've told Mahama. And I don't care if he doesn't want me to come where he is, I don't care. There is no oxygen only available there. There's oxygen everywhere. This is what I want to tell President Tinubu. And let him take the matter, call the president face to face. Museveni style. What President Museveni has said, I'm going to ask Ramaphosa face to face, not sending delegates. Face to face. What happened? Where have we gone wrong? Why have we killed our people? So President Tinubu should not sit and wait for small delegates. Yes, the Minister of Foreign Affairs carries a message, but these are people who have died. The biggest number of people who have died in South Africa, who have brought us all these problems, is from your country. It's from where you are, who have made most of Africans to be beaten up. So it's not a simple matter to send one small delegate here to drink bed and breakfast and per diem and go back home. This is a matter that should be solved by presidents and sit down. And I have told Mahama has taken my advice. I don't know who advises President Tinubu. I don't know why he should take the matter, say, I want. On this one, he has done very well. He said, oh, no, go back. I want to see my Mr. Ramaphosa. They are the same age, or is slightly older than Ramaphosa. Maybe pump some knowledge in Mr. Ramaphosa. Things cannot happen while you watch. While you watch. You watch police taking part. You watch goons killing people, killing Africans. No. This is not the South Africa we liberated in 1994. And we must speak up. But we should not take revenge on this continent. We should not take revenge. Some of us are not don't take the law in your hands again. And this is not the whole of South Africa. These are goons. And these are goons prepared, logistically, supplied, equipped by Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma should not fly anywhere. In fact, when you see Jacob Zuma at the Mutala Airport in Lagos, stamp there, deported. Deport Jacob Zuma. These are goons that he has done. They are doing it. They are most from his tribe. His tribe is the one killing people.
Dr.
His
Masanga.
tribe is the one beating.
Dr. Masanga.
No. I have evidence.
Dr. Masanga, I mean, those are strong evidences, but or words rather.
Bro, if we don't talk about this strongly, we are dead.
Okay.
You know, people are going to pick up arms to kill some South Africans in some countries. You have killed Somali. If they find a Somali finds a South African in Mogadishu, what will happen?
Okay.
What will happen?
Okay, we'll go on a quick break. When we come back, my question will border around the opportunity for the African Union to show itself. But let's take this break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on Breakfast Central. We're taking a look at the recent situation in South Africa. Our guest is Dr. Masanga, who joins us. And definitely we're looking at this recent issue. You may not have seen the video, but if you came across that video, it's quite sad to see how a Nigerian was unalived, especially by the police in South Africa. Though reports did come out that he wasn't unalived in that manner. Rather, he was arrested, and in the process, he wasn't feeling too well. But video footage did surface online. Let's bring you back, Dr. Masanga, to look at this. Isn't this an opportunity for the African Union to show its strength by calling or convening an emergency meeting, calling all heads of states to sit down and deal with this devilish issue once and for all? But what we hear or see seems to be complete silence.
My brother, African Union is dead. You know the word? D-E-A-D. The head of Political Peace and Security Commission is a Yoruba man there called Ambassador Bankole. Useless. A very useless man. Very useless. I don't know why Nigeria put such useless people to destroy our organization. He cannot call even half a meeting between a cat and a rat. Look, this is a man who should have traveled, who should canvass the whole Africa, talk like a Masanga, go to Algeria, talk, go to South Africa, tell them, what are you doing? He sits in the office. He's from Nigeria, though. Don't tell me he's from Uganda. If it had been Masanga. Unfortunately, they can't elect me to become a head of the political, which I studied better than Bankole, on the highest iota on planet Earth. Useless people, dead. African Union is dead, bro. Brothers and my sister, it is dead. In Kufa, it's dead. They cannot even call a single meeting. You see, there was going to be a meeting today in Cairo, in where I said we are coming with so many people to beat some of these African heads of state. Cairo, they threatened, because I'm mobilizing Africa to teach some of these guys a lesson. Why does African Union watch people die and then the African Union collects seats in Addis Ababa. There is no meeting between Nigeria and Ghana. There's no meeting between Nigeria and South Africa, Ghana and South Africa and Uganda. This man is a very short guy there in your office, from your place. You people are told, I don't know where you got this guy. He's there seated. We're meeting diplomats, meeting white guys from where. You were elected to go and service politics and security and peace in Africa. You should not have sat in the office in AU and wait for Nigerians to be killed. Then you call yourself Ambassador Bankole. My foot. These people must be told. You see, previously you were talking about someone who set up an office near President Tinubu. What is this in Africa, surely? And he collected money for years. And now you are saying, look for him. This double standard in Africa. If we are to go for us, some of us have done our best. We are going home. We are in the sunset. God is calling us. What type of Africa are we going to live for you? Dead Africa. African Union is dead. It can't call even a meeting. It has now postponed the meeting to October. It is beating between should we put them on agenda or not on agenda. Ghana, I've called Mahama, please don't go to ICC. Because I'm the only expert on ICC, south of Sahara. You can't get anyone who tackled ICC and secured Ruto and secured Uhuru Kenyatta. Without me, Papuko will not be talking. Without me, Muhammad Bemba, Thomas Rubanga, Bashir, the Kenyan, everybody, they wanted to kill them, to imprison them. Every case I touched in ICC, don't go there. ICC is dead. It's dead. It's just an American organization. So one thing that I want to tell you, African Union needs to change the name to Organization of African Unity. We should go back to original organization that used to tackle African issues. Brother, sister and brothers, it is dead. They collect only allowances. Unfortunately, the man heading the political wing, which would have flown to South Africa, is from Nigeria, is called Ambassador Bankole. So you can give him a call to tell him Matanga says you are useless.
Okay. You earlier when you were speaking, you said there shouldn't be any sort of, I mean, not the exact word you used, but reprisal attacks as a result of what, has happened. How do we go forward from this? How do we get to a point where Africa realizes that we're not each other's enemies, where we realize that we are one continent and should be looking out for each other? And I hear you when you say it should no longer be African Union, it should go back to Organization of African Unity. But beyond the titles and nomenclatures, what do we need to do to ensure that Africa puts Africa first? And we don't keep seeing stories like this in the news.
Africa has never put itself first. Africa puts itself by looking at America. What has America done? If you look at what Nigeria is spending money to cool down Boko Haram issues and some things in the US, it is more money that would build more studios of this nature, and we talk about Africa. They spend money giving fake guys. You find them running with those big cloths of yours around Washington, D.C. Matanga picks one phone to Susan Wells. She's my friend. I don't need to go to Washington, D.C. I don't need, even if they gave me, I don't need a visa to go to Washington, D.C. Africa needs to start talking about itself first. And it is very difficult for Africa to start talking about itself. Let me ask you, my sister, one question. Gaddafi died. Show me one road named in Lagos, Gaddafi Road. Is there a road named Gaddafi Road in Lagos? Is there a name named? Is there a building named Gaddafi? Gaddafi died. He was telling them, the French were coming to kill me. I don't have weapons of mass destruction. No African leader today followed Sarkozy except this mouth. Until I put Sarkozy, who said he cannot go to jail, I said, no, you have energy to go to jail. I went to Paris in a court and for the first time stood on the French side and said, look, this man has an energy to serve sentence. He stole and lied to the United Nations Security Council that Gaddafi had weapons of mass destruction, yet he had stolen his money. And this money has been found here in Paris. African leaders have no cooperation at all. That's why you see Tinubu looks at the South African Foreign Minister as a useless man. Why has he come to my country? You see, if they had known each other, if they know, they pick a phone and call the President Ramaphosa. Why are you doing this to my people? Why? What is going on? That could cool down the temperature. But none of them, Africa cannot discuss even one thing today. Africa that used to discuss one thing was the Africa of ours. When we grew up, 1950 something, 60, 61, Africa 65, things were moving. But the Africa of today is the Africa of rented Africa Union. Rented, is rented. You can see the type of democracy that you are talking about. A man in Guinea, Conakry, overthrows a government, wears white long things. I hate that one. He wears long things, then he said, I'm a Democrat. He locks up opposition, then he comes to OU, that now I am the president of Guinea Conakry. Useless. Another one in Gabon, useless. And look, this is not the African Union where we used to put sanctions on Babangida. We used to put, not Babangida, when General, the other terrible general in your place, Abacha, when he was slaughtering people, we put sanctions on them. Don't come near us. That is the type of African Union that we want. But the African Union of today is bure kabisa. It's zero. There is nothing there. I don't know why our leaders go to smell perfumes, each other's perfume and the clothes. Nigerian leader comes well dressed in those things of yours. I don't go to that place anymore. I like to go to see President Abiy, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. He has done something in fact, you can be happy to go and sit in Addis Ababa because he has done something. He has not stolen. Your place, they have stolen and stolen and stolen, and they are vomiting on the shoes. Now, how can such a leader come to tell another African leader that stop killing my people? Impossible. Okay. So there is no way, my sister, that African Union will ever sit down seriously. The people who used to sit down are dead. The few remaining like us are not, unfortunately, not. We are very well educated, better than some idiots there, but they cannot give you a place because you criticize their policy.
Now, Dr. Matanga, if I may come in here, Dr. Matanga, you believe the African Union is toothless and we shouldn't expect much from it. But what can individual countries do on a bilateral level? For example, Nigeria, what actions can they take to send a strong message? The Ghanaian president, for example, did talk about conversations about ICC, but you've also dismissed that, and they've mentioned African Union, you say it's useless. But if these messages are not sent, if there's no strong message, because this is not the first wave of xenophobic attacks we're seeing in South Africa, it's likely to continue. So what can countries do on an individual level? For example, Nigeria, what can we really do? There are talks of nationalization of South African businesses and other things like that, beyond, strongly worded statements.
Nationalization of property of South Africa will not pay the people they killed. Nigeria should now list down the people they are returning. Do it the Ugandan way. Do it the President Museveni way. Everybody whom we are evacuating from South Africa, we are recording what you left back. I left a house, this is the land title. I left a car, this is the logbook. I left a school. Many Ugandans had made schools. So Nigerian government should not overreact, but now sit down with the people coming back and they record every property they left. Put a bill
put a bill. This case is not the case for International Criminal Court. Unfortunately, some of the governments, they have very poor lawyers. This case can go to International Court of, we can go for reparations in another court next to ICC. Ask Dr. Matsanga. They tell Tinubu to contact me. We can talk for the first time if he wants any advice. Because it looks like everybody in Nigeria there lies to Tinubu. This case can be well documented with each and every lost property. And then we put down the total figure. And let's all African countries flash this list. Uganda is doing it. Ghana is doing it. Kenya is doing it. Malawi is doing it. Mozambique is doing it. Let's get this money, reparations. Let's get our money, damages. Let's pay back. Let South Africa pay the bill. Let each country in Africa. You know, you will punish them more. You will punish them more than destroying their property or confiscating their property. No, let the law. Let's go to court. There are courts there, not the other courts can be solved. A case of that nature cannot be solved by ICC. That case, because in South Africa, you need now to go to South Africa and raise the matter through the South African courts, because South Africa, a court ICC's complementarity status. ICC does not interfere into internal affairs until there is an overflow and a failure to do that. But ICJ, we can now go to ICJ. Like South Africa went to ICJ and said, Israel is killing Palestinians. We can also go to ICJ, all African countries that have lost their people, and put a claim there on South Africa. If they don't know how to write it, President Tinubu is seeing me today. Look at me, call me. I'll write it on a pro bono basis for your government, because it seems your Attorney General is also confused. They should not retaliate. Don't retaliate against South Africa. By the way, this South Africa, don't forget, only got independence in 1994. We got independence in 1961 for Nigeria, Uganda 1962, which some of the people beating us don't know the date they got independence. So for us, we are older. For us, we sponsored to remove apartheid. Let's behave like elders and maybe teach South Africa a way forward by going to say, this is our bill, $10 billion. Another country comes with the bill, $5 billion. Another bill comes, 5, 2, 3, 4. Let each country count for the loss to teach South Africa to say what happened. Because the president, Ramaphosa, so he should have directed the police. That's why you see Tinubu has now directed the police to arrest the man who had created the office closer to him. And he was making money near his house. So let Ramaphosa should have directed police to arrest those people and put them in. So the responsibility lies on the president now to say, if he doesn't talk, let's give him a bill. Don't retaliate by beating South Africans. Don't retaliate by sending them away. Some of them are not even aware that their government neglected them. So for us in Uganda, we have not touched MTN. We have not touched South African banks. We are doing something which is called intellectual legal bypass. We want a political legal bypass to reach South Africa, punish it legally and quietly. Give us the money. Our people left the money. Give us the money. We want that money. We want our compensation. The people came. Nigeria lost 4,000 people were displaced from South Africa. Can you compensate? How much will you compensate?
Okay.
That is the best way.
Okay, Dr. Masanga, I mean, before we come back to you to wrap this conversation up, our editor-in-chief, managing director, Mr. Kaide Akintemi, had a sit-down with the Minister of International Relations, South Africa. even though they were not able to meet with the president. But of course, we were able to have an exclusive conversation with them. We just want to put that clip out there for our viewers to see. Very detailed, very incisive, very timely, especially with this conversation that we're having this morning. When we come back, we'll have to take just one more reaction from you. Let's take a look.
In reality, there has been individuals that were being arrested. And unfortunately, when such things do happen, doesn't gain the same news, because as you see the videos, they fly across, but there are investigations. As a constitutional democracy, the police still have to investigate. They have to effect arrest on the basis of evidence. And in certain situations, they've done so on the spot. So there has been arrest, and it's ongoing. So they are ongoing through our criminal justice system. So this is what the South African government has been saying from the beginning, that anyone involved in this type of criminality must be dealt with by the law enforcement, and that the responsibility to enforce immigration laws is the responsibility of the lawful authorities of the state, and that is what they've been doing. The president also announced a 5-point plan to deal with all these issues, because indeed there are issues that do causes some of this irritation from various communities, and these issues, some of the issues that we were engaged with here today, from the message we've received with the Minister of State here, is that the president was no longer available, but he has delegated him to receive the message, and he will deliver the message of President Ramaphosa to his brother, President Tinubu. He will receive the message. I don't know if you call that snubbing or not, but he will receive the message. We had a very robust engagement on this issue with a highly powered delegation from the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Nigeria, with various ambassadors, the Secretary of State, a highly empowered delegation that said has been mandated by President Tinubu. So it's up to the Nigerian media. If the Nigerian media interpret that as snubbing, I don't know. I don't interpret it as snubbing, because we had a discussion. We had a robust one. We shared our issues and the message that we had to deliver on behalf of President Ramaphosa. And that message, we were given assurance that it will reach President Tinubu. So the message will receive the intended recipient. And for us, that is what was important. Okay. And that is the substance of the delivery of the message, and the discussion that we had, as I've said, it was very robust. The message from the South African government is that we condemn any form of xenophobia or any related intolerance. We condemn any killing of any Nigerian national or any national from the African continent or from South Africa in that matter. And we have also conveyed our condolences where there has been untimely deaths as on behalf of the South African public and the government. And we have also conveyed that in South Africa, immigration laws, according to our law, must be enforced by the law enforcement officials and not individuals. We have also conveyed the issues that are an irritation to the South African public, which are concerns, which leads to sometimes this type of violence. And we have also stated that this is not justification at all. One of those issues was the inauguration of the Igbo King in Gukompo in the Eastern Cape, the hijacking of buildings by some of the Nigerian nationals, and including putting areas, communities, and make them no-go areas, even for South Africans. And such community happens to exist in Tshwane, or what we call Pretoria, in Sunnyside, where there is a community.
But you haven't found such community.
And there is also another community in Hebrew, in Johannesburg.
Did you say those are allegations, or did you find such community?
All right, so you can catch all the detailed interview with the Minister of International Relations, Ronald Lamola, right there, speaking with the Managing Director and Editor-in-Chief, News Central, Mr. Kari Akintemi, where he said that they're doing a lot. So let me throw it back to you, Mr. Masanga, as we wrap up the conversation. In that footage, that interview, he did say that they're also doing a lot. They're arresting those who are responsible for the murder and the negative news and actions that we do see. He says it's not in their place. He doesn't know what we do, what we report here in Nigeria. Do you think the South African president and his team, do you think they're doing enough to douse the fire in terms of information sharing and also enlightening the Africans as a whole concerning what they're doing?
South African intelligence system, if I were the director, should be alert now. Sister and brothers, South Africa has been infiltrated. It has been infiltrated by several agencies. George Soros, through the Israelis, they have infiltrated through Zuma. You see, this is raw intelligence that you can get. I am a member of Chatham House, a member of International Institute of Strategic Studies. You can't tell me you know anything beyond that. Those are agencies that know. There is infiltration supplied through NGO of Jacob Zuma's base of Natal, KwaZulu-Natal. The guy that you see wearing those things is Jacob Zuma's faction. They have been paid, well paid, to disrupt South Africa. Mr. Ramaphosa, to get South Africa back working, get Zuma. Zuma betrayed us. Gaddafi died. He told the ambassador to vote. If he had abstained, the resolution would have collapsed. We have kept quiet. Now, Zuma has never condemned this openly. So if I were the director of intelligence of South Africa, the focus would be on internal dynamics of Zuma, the group in KwaZulu-Natal. You see, let me come on the other side. Some of our brothers also behave badly. Why do you go to create a kingdom in another country? That is also bad manners. But that does not mean you kill them. 2 of 3, South Africa is facing a very dangerous international, outcast. The government, for the 19 months left for Trump and Elon Musk, I'm telling you people, and you call me back on this studio, the 3 of you, in fact, call me, especially that the younger man down there, my brother there who always knows what I told, it never goes wrong. South Africa is going to be disrupted by the CIA systems across the Atlantic Ocean. You watch and see. The remaining 19 months of Trump in power will find, Trump has already said South Africa is expelling whites. There is a genocide there. That's the assumption in Washington, D.C. I always quarrel with Susan Wills and other people, friends of mine there. Where's the genocide there? Now, South Africa, instead of being friendly to all of us, so that we can help them to see that they change the foreign policy, South Africa is not talking. This foreign minister is a great friend of mine. He has tried, bro. He has tried, all of you, madam, and the 2 gentlemen. But he cannot try without arresting the culprits. The culprits are still talking on TV. Their own national TV telling us we are coming for you. There is a woman who's related to Zuma. That lady who is called Zuma. Why can't you arrest this guy, put her, this lady, put her through the court system and say, why are you inciting the public? If there are people who are illegal, it is not your role as a goon to go and take the law in your hands to kill us. For us as Ugandans, and I want to thank the chief editor, your managing director there, a great friend of mine. We have done a lot for Africa. We are going home. Keep going and keep asking those questions. I wish one of these days he calls me to ask him questions. That program will be very robust because we talk the truth. Things are not good. The man says we have arrested some people and we are investigating. You waited to investigate when people were dying? Surely, tell me. Why was he waiting? Waiting for who? God, for Jesus to come to separate the goons and against people whom you beat on the streets. Rubbish. That is not the way things are doing. We should do in Africa. For me, I am an African elder. My experience has taught me there is one thing. Africa needs to go back to the drawing table.
And we agree with you. Africa really needs to go back to the drawing table. Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga, for a incisive conversation we've had with you this morning. We'll wait to hear some more, but don't forget that the exclusive interview with the Minister of International Relations will air on Friday at 5 p.m. So make sure you tune in. And actually tomorrow. I beg your pardon. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Actually, you tune in and don't miss it too, Dr. Masanga.
Because we'd like to hear your
thoughts tomorrow on Wednesday when you get to watch it and you have your say as well.
Thank you very much, Dr. Masanga.
Something very interesting.
Yes. So tune in at 5 p.m. West African time tomorrow.
The dismissal of the chief prosecutor. This gentleman.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for your time. We have to run. Thank you so much. Well, don't forget, once again, the interview with the Managing Director, Editor-in-Chief, Zakari Akintemi, with the Minister of International Relations, Mr. Ronald Lamola, will air tomorrow at 5 p.m. So tune in here at News Central Television to listen to the details, the death of Nigerians, especially there in South Africa, and what he has to say. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at more that we have for you lined up here on Breakfast Central. Thanks for staying with us here on Breakfast Central on News Central. If you haven't been with us right from the early hours where we started off at 7, well, you have the final opportunity to join us as we wrap things up this hour, looking at the front pages of the newspapers. Joining us is definitely the man many people would love to listen to, especially on critical issues concerning Nigeria. We do have publisher of the niche newspaper, Mr. Ibeh Chika Simon, join us live in the studios. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
You're welcome, Mr. Amechi.
Joe, always my pleasure. Olive.
You're looking very diplomatic and presidential.
Great as usual.
Thanks, sir.
Were you part of the Nigerian delegation that met the South African delegation that the president refused to see?
See the way he responded, he said no, like, no, not me. But it's good to have you. Let's take a look at the front pages immediately. We're going to go first to the papers right away. Let's start off with the Punch newspaper. The first story on the front page of the newspaper there says, fake agency probe. I seem to have a problem with this fake, the word fake, but it's fine. House faces pressure to summon Gbajabiamila. That's the Gbajagate issue. Reps order IGP to produce controversial DG Adeyemi within 48 hours. Calls grow to invite COS Akume over 400 million naira bribery claim. Others. No funds released despite approvals. Accountant General tells reps. And at the top, xenophobia minister meets South African envoy after Tinubu's snub. We also have an exclusive on that as well. Don't forget, we'll just show that to you. It's going to air tomorrow at 5 p.m. Obi Kwankwaso ticket sparks fresh NMPP NDC shutdown. I don't understand that. 30 killed, houses burnt in fresh Kaduna terror attack. I heard that yesterday evening / this morning. Very sad. I heard children were amongst the casualties, high number. But let's start with you first. House faces pressure to summon Gbajabiamila. That's a big story before we move to the others.
Well, it is a continuation of the probe. Of course, the president ordered ICPC to probe the matter and report back to him within 1 month. And the House of Representatives also took it upon themselves to dig into the matter. It's only the Senate that refused to entertain any probe. You know, it is good that the probe of the House of Representatives is open, and therefore Nigerians will have access to what is being discussed, the questions that are being asked. Some high government officials, I think the Accountant General or so, has appeared before the panel.
Yes.
Representatives of the CBN governor have also come. Yesterday, the House mandated the IGP to produce Prince Adeyemi within 48 hours. So that would be by tomorrow. He's expected to be there.
Yeah.
Some other people are also calling for the president's chief of staff, Adeyemi himself, who is at the center of all this controversy, to also come. And, of course, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Akume. Let us hope that we will get somewhere at the end of the day. Let us hope that all these are not attempts to, at the end of the day, working from the answer to the question, attempts to exonerate, to pull a stamp of vindication on some people. Let us hope that these probes are genuine and that at the end of the day, it will lead us to somewhere. Joe, my big problem now, and I think that is where those who are already exonerating some people, even when the probe has not been concluded. My big problem is that the only person who has been fingered as the witness is no longer alive. The terminola of a guy. Nobody knows the circumstances surrounding his death. The same presidency told us, nobody knew before now. It was a statement released by Bayo Onanoga. It was from that statement that Nigerians knew that this guy died in a hotel fire in Abuja, that the police confirmed it. Now, nobody knows whether that fire was in the man's room alone or how far the fire went. How did he die? Did the fire incident take place in his room, in the hotel, or where? Did the gas used in cooking in the hotel kitchen explode, and perhaps now the guy was in the kitchen?
Was he the only one that died?
And died. Was he the only one that died? And to make matters worse, the hotel
has been demolished.
Has been demolished.
No evidence.
Has been demolished. If Nigerians are not worried, then something is wrong with all of us as a people. That is my biggest worry. So now the whole thing is almost being reduced to your word against mine. Don't forget, the Adeyemi guy had already said that he never communicated with Adeyemi, but there was a middleman who was the go-between. Now, has anybody probed to find out who this middleman actually was before his death? Is the police telling us something? Was he killed or did he die a natural death? Why was the hotel pulled down? On whose authority did they pull down the hotel? Don't forget, the police actually arrested Adeyemi last year, only 1 week after the death of this man. So it was like, okay, now that we have the only witness, of course, dead men don't talk. Now that the only witness that this guy has is out of the way, then we can deal with the issues. Like I said here last week, anybody can believe anything. Of course, Nigerians believe in so many things. But anybody who actually believes that one man called Prince Adeyemi, Benga said last week that no, that he's no longer a prince, he's a minister.
They've investigated him in his village.
So anybody who believes that this man single-handedly conned the entire system, conned the entire system, can believe anything.
Let's take this call.
Uche is calling from Abia. Good morning, Uche. Thank you for calling.
What's the name of that lady?
Akwete.
Akwete. I'm looking forward to you wearing Akwete on set.
I will. Actually, now that you said it, I will.
Help me use some to sew suit for Joe.
Okay, so now this is the update regarding PFIPC. I think we should actually go to our next paper and see what the front pages
We still have, I think that's still...
Have we taken on?
No, we haven't.
Are there any other stories?
Yes. The xenophobic attack, I'm sure that should be in other newspapers, but if it's not, it's a big story. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu shone in to meet with the South African envoy.
It is a big story.
Did you see the killing of the Nigerian?
Yeah, the guy was suffocated.
Yes.
It is extrajudicial killing at its worst. And for once, I'm going to say President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did the right thing by snubbing the so-called envoy of President Cyril
Ramaphosa.
But we've not gone far enough. The killing of the guy by the police, I think it's about the 5th Nigerian that has been killed in recent times in South Africa. The body language of Ramaphosa does not suggest that the man is scandalized by what his country is doing to fellow Africans. And did you watch the video of the minister, the South African minister, on our soil, telling us that some Nigerians are involved in drugs, in fraud, and all that? And you ask yourself, for crying out loud, even if we agree that these guys are criminals, does South Africa not have laws
or law enforcement?
Is it not a constitutional democracy? Is there no rule of law? Does South African law say that anybody accused of any crime whatsoever should be extrajudicially killed? Are there no processes? Who convicted them? Mere suspicion does not translate. Olive is a lawyer. Is that how nations operate? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must reciprocate in a way that the South African government will understand that you can't kill a Nigerian extrajudicially and get away with it. Even in South Africa, do they have in their laws? I am here to hear that even if you carry drugs, that it is death penalty.
Why are not Asia?
Or that even if you are involved in internet fraud, that the punishment is death. It is not. So why do you continue killing people in the name of what? South African government and the President Cyril Ramaphosa, they have done terrible things against fellow Africans. Unfortunately, those who are subjugating them, those who are keeping them where they are not fellow blacks. Are not fellow blacks. And how many jobs have they created since this mayhem and since other African countries started bringing back their people?
How many foreign nationals? It's 5% of their population.
How many jobs have they created? ANC is running since after Thabo Mbeki. The people who followed Thabo Mbeki, what is his name again?
Jacob Zuma.
Jacob Zuma and Cyril Ramaphosa, they have run South Africa down. And they are looking for excuses, and they are using fellow Africans as scapegoats. It can't work. And even this envoy that now South Africa is now sending out, it is because African nations have reported South Africa to AU. And there's a meeting of AU coming up, I think, in Angola. So that is why they are running from pillar to post. Don't forget, this same delegation came to Nigeria from Ghana. So it is quite right that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and don't also not forget, even the Nigerian government said there was no prior notice. So it is that level of insult that you think you could jump on us, then walk into Aso Rock to go and explain what? If Ramaphosa is serious, he should come down and explain to the president.
From president to president.
What is going on in his country? Nigeria has not gone far enough. There should be retaliatory measures. And the law of reciprocity.
Retaliatory, not in terms of life for life.
Look, of course, we won't descend to that animalistic level of killing them. But there must be avenues, diplomatically, of mounting a certain commensurate pressure on South Africa to send an unmistakable message to them that what they are doing to our nationals is intolerable, and we cannot continue taking them. Life of every Nigerian, everywhere in the world, should matter. And South Africa cannot continue treating us with contempt.
Absolutely.
No. We agree. We agree. There's a major story we need to take now. It's a major news story. It's a human tragedy that needs to be averted. It's actually unfolding in Uzere as oil and gas continue to gush from a blown out oil well, as you can see there on the screen. It's a matter of life and death. In Uzere community on the brink of a humanitarian and environmental catastrophe, the answer may depend on what happens in the coming days. What you see there on the screen is no joke. Approximately 6 weeks ago, Heritage Energy's well 14 suffered a blowout, sending oil and gas gushing uncontrollably into the environment. 6 weeks later, the situation has continued to deteriorate, posing what residents fear is a grave threat to the livelihood and future of Uzere community. As we speak now, our correspondent is on the ground. He joins us right away while we take a break on newspapers. Austin Azu, Good morning. You're within the community area. Can you share with us what is happening, the updates, the people, and any other updates that you have for us regarding this latest story in the Uzere community?
Good morning, Joe. Of course, like what you rightly mentioned, behind me is a scene where the disaster is taking place over there. And of course, this place is Omele 30. And of course, this is Uzere. We're 14, Omele 30, we're 14, and one of the words in Uzere Kingdom. Uzere Kingdom is just like the first, one of those first communities that discovered crude oil in Nigeria in large quantity. And of course, from what we gathered so far, that this explosion took place since about a month ago, and up to now, the thing is still flaring. And of course, we are denied access to the place because of some management issues. But for the worth of time, we have some of the community members here to talk to us. First, we have the vice president of the community, Abugo Abenigo. Abenigo, good to meet you. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Okay, the camera, sir. Okay, sir, tell us, how has this impact been to your community? What are the environmental impact? How are you guys feeling the impact of this flare?
The truth of the matter is we are even very surprised as a community that even as we came here this morning, the oil company has placed an order that we cannot access the place. But I will say that the impact of in the community, it is a very huge one. For example, Uzere, as a community, is a farming community where we do all sorts of farm, fishing, and planting of cassavas, groundnut, and all the rest. What has happened has deterred our ability to produce what we're supposed to produce. For example, in the aquaculture, our fish pond, our environment, this is even fishing period that we're supposed to come out and fish. We can no longer access the bush, the waters, to make sure we catch fish for our livelihood. Then on the higher ground where we do our normal farming, cassava farms have been destroyed. We cannot even harvest the one we planted that we're supposed to even harvest at this period. So everything has been going wrongly. The thing has affected the communities hugely. No matter what the company will even give to the community that can even equate what has happened. Whatever they are going to give, if they even want to give anything, it cannot even equate what has happened. And even up till now, for almost a month now, the company have not even found solution to what is happening. They are incapable of handling what is happening. So we are crying to the whole world that should come to our aid, that Uzere people are suffering. Uzere people are endangered by the spillage that happened in well 14th in Uzere. Please, government and all the rest, whosoever that has the wherewithal, the technology know-how to come and save us, please to come in and salvage the situation for us. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, we have Chief Columbus Oguname, is a chairman, Oil and Gas, Uzere Kingdom, sir. Please, this way, sir. Okay, sir, tell us what are the health implications of this flare here?
Okay, well, for me, I may not be able to talk very well about the health implication because I'm not a medical practitioner. Okay. My concern right now at the moment is that the company, what they are doing to curtail whatever they want to curtail, they are trying their best, but it's not good enough. So we want to cry to the entire world because right now the full community is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Any moment from now, we are going to have the flood. When we are coming out, you saw trucks lined up. These trucks are moving whatever is coming from the ground outside so that it will not overtake the community. And that is our fear because even with what they are doing now, trying to move those things out, if the flood meets it up right now, it will overwhelm them, overwhelm everybody. It means the entire community will be sacked. It will be sacked. And there's no amount of money you are going to give to the community that will equate the life of anybody and the community running away from their own community. Okay. Yes, so that is my concern at the moment. Whatever anybody can do, all the expatriates, anybody that can hear us, who knows how they can curtail this eruption that has been taking place on the 27th of June, they should come and help us. That is the most important thing right now. That is the most important thing because the life of the community is at stake. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The last but not the least, we have Liberty Okwegbe, is a youth vice chairman, Uzere Kingdom. Okay, as a youth leader in the kingdom, so how are you pacifying some of your youth members? Of course, we gather that most of them are angry over this situation.
Definitely. Good morning, everyone. My name is Okwegbe Liberty, the youth vice chairman, Uzere Kingdom. my contribution to this Web 14 is this thing is really costing a lot. It's really costing a lot because in 1 month's time now, everywhere will be flooded with a flood. And this thing, and once it enters inside our bush now, we will not be able to do anything inside the bush again because including all our lakes, ponds and everything, they are going to be destroyed. And if you come to it now, even this place I'm standing right now, I'm even perceiving the gas here. Even when you go inside the community, you will still perceive the same thing. So we need a rescue to this thing. It's really costing a loss to us in this area. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Every passing hour brings pains to the people of Uzere community. And of course, they are crying to the relevant authorities for assistance. If urgent attention is not taken, who knows what will happen next? So back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Austin, as well, from one challenge to the other.
Kind of reminds me what's happening in Bile community as well in Rivers State.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll go on a very quick break. We'll come back, and when we come back, we'll continue the review of the papers. Please stay with us.
Thanks for staying with us here. We're looking at the front pages of the newspapers. Apologies to those who have tried calling to be part of the program. Please go ahead and see. Just keep trying. Try again so we can take your calls. We still have publisher of the niche newspaper, Ibeh Chika Simon. Let's look at the Guardian newspaper right now, having come off that worrisome story taking place in Delta State. In the Punch now, on the Punch, the Guardian, I beg your pardon. Credibility doubts heighten over worsening violence. Stolen PVCs. A lot is going on in Osun State, and I think that should be a major conversation as a country that Nigerians should have, because it's quite shocking to note that a lot is happening, from flouting of law and order to ensuring that, elections would be marred, as it were, because where there's violence, pre-violence, we've seen the data statistics. It shows that this affects voter turnout. But what's your take on what's been happening in Osun State?
Well, what is happening in Osun State is to be expected. The idea of free and fair election in Nigeria is
gone.
It has never been there. It has never been there. We like lying to ourselves. But the bigger issue is that, Joe, if there is this much violence, if we can't conduct free and fair election in a standalone election, one state, you can then imagine what will happen when we go into the general election. You will find out on August 15th. Of course, the Nigerian police will deploy more than 150 policemen. Soldiers will be deployed. DSS will be deployed. Road safety will be deployed. EFCC will be deployed. Then the entire state will be locked down for about 2 days. As if we are going to a war.
For a civic exercise.
For crying out loud. Countries in Ghana, next door neighbor, because if you talk about Europe or America now, they will tell you that you're comparing apples and oranges. But look at next door neighbor, Ghana. On election days, people will go and drop their children in school, go to work, and when they are free, perhaps during their break time, they will drive to the polling booth and cast their ballot.
Simple as ABC.
God, when?
And go back home. We pride ourselves as
Giant of Africa.
The giant of Africa. Yet we can't get anything right. Something as simple as people going to vote and facing their business. Do you know how many people have been killed in Osun? Yesterday there was an attack. PVCs were carted away. Adeleke said he's assuring the people that the votes will count. How?
The commissioner we spoke to this morning said people should come out and vote en masse.
Yet, he's
even though he
accusing the
doesn't
police.
trust the police.
Yes.
How? There is no guarantee that the people are going to be protected. And even at that, elections, despite all the constraints, the long-suffering people of Nigeria, the poor masses, they usually come out to queue and cast their ballot. It is not at the polling booth that the problem starts. The problem starts at the collection centers. That is where all the results that are announced at the polling booth, they change.
Disappears.
You see a polling booth where Party A scored 100 and Party B scored 50. You go to that place, at the collection center, Party B that scored 50, theirs will be 500 or even 5,000. Even when the entire registered voters in that polling booth are not up to 1,000 or 500. And we keep doing this Tell me which of the off-cycle elections that have been conducted since 2023, is it the Edo election? Is it the one that was conducted in Ekiti the other day? Is it the Osun that is coming up in the next couple of weeks or thereabout? So, should Nigerians not be worried? I'm not too sure that any Nigerian expels anybody who is sincere to himself, expels the possibility of a free and fair election in Nigeria. The politicians themselves don't plan for free and fair election. The politicians, if you work with a typical campaign structure, you begin to appreciate what I'm saying. How much money is voted for INEC officials? How much money is voted for security? Nobody cares about the people who are going...
Mr. Mechi, is it about time that we have an honest conversation about our brand of democracy? Because it seems to only favor a certain class of people. Lee Kuan Yew did say that you need a certain type of education for democracy to thrive in your country. And this copy and paste Western-style democracy that has been handed over to us, we've tried it since 1999, and like I said earlier, it's only favoring a certain type of people. How do we make money and weaponization of money and poverty irrelevant? And also, you know, the level of discussions among the electorate, the education and poverty level in the country would only make it beneficial to a certain class of people, and it negates the entire principle of democracy.
Should we have that discussion? Maybe.
I mean, we've had constitutional panels and...
But that discussion has been taking place...
Sovereign National Conference.
Has been taking place almost forever. Almost forever. Look at even the issue of Electoral Act. The effort put in by the political class, by the lawmakers, to bastardize it, to make sure that rather than guaranteeing a free and fair election, there are clauses there that almost are prerequisites for rigging of election. People shouted and they were shouted down. Look at the issue of weaponizing the judiciary to make sure that we have a sole presidential candidate in 2027. All the political parties, or at least the major political parties, don't forget, they are still in court. So ADC is still in court, NDC is still in court, and anything can still happen tomorrow. What if they get to the to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court rules tomorrow that the process that led to the David Mark-led leadership of ADC was illegal? What happens?
Okay.
Are people considering those possibilities? So we have a system where contest for power defies what should be the definition of democracy.
All right.
And also election, no matter what anybody tells us, is not going to be any different.
We wait and see the results, and we can only hope. But hope is not a strategy.
Hope is not a strategy. Mr. Amechi has said Osun elections will not be different. What do you say? We'll continue the conversation tomorrow. We're streaming live on YouTube, but Jasiri comes up next. Thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you so much to our virtual audience, to our guests who have joined us. We'll see you tomorrow. Au revoir.
What do I see? Bye.